Good morning, everyone. Can everyone see and hear me? If so, just give a little wave or a thumbs up. Yes? Okay, perfect. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jennifer with Sensational Kids. Just wanted to welcome you all. Thank you for being here. Let you know that we are recording this call so that we can send it to you and anybody else who wasn't able to join us live today. Because we're recording and to keep all the noise and distraction out of the background, I'm going to have everybody muted except for Allison when she comes on. And because of all being on mute, we're going to use the chat box as a way to communicate. So on the bottom of your screen should be a chat button. Go ahead and give that a click. And down, at least on my computer, down the right side of your computer, you'll have a chat box. We can communicate in there. Allison will ask you for some feedback during the call, and we'll take some questions later, so feel free to use that for communication. In the meantime, please get comfortable, grab a glass of water, and if possible, have a place near you where you can lay down on the floor today, and even best case scenario, right by a wall. Allison's gonna have some exercises we'll need to do that way. So if that's possible for you, please go ahead and do that, and we will start in a moment. Thanks.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. We all made it through another week. If you could all put your videos back on, at least for the beginning, while we talk for a little bit so that I could see everybody, that would just be awesome. I like us all to be together during this time as a community, and for all of us to be present for each other, both in body and in terms of our energy and our presence. So thank you, everybody, for turning that on. I see a whole bunch of new faces, which are so wonderful. All right, so just to let you know the purpose of these calls, we have been doing these calls every week since our confinement or our cocooning has started. So this is our third week. For those of you that are familiar with my company, Sensational Kids, we partner with schools, helping them bring mindfulness practices into the everyday culture of the school. So like you, when all of this happened, everything changed for us in one fell swoop. Most of our programs are in-person based through professional development and through in-class support. So in one fell swoop, everything just stopped. And I know for you, things stopped maybe for a minute, and then you had to gather everything up and like reinvent how you teach. Yes? Everybody could just like nod. This morning, I was on a call with a social worker from a very large district that we work with, who told me she had 4 hours to clean out her classroom, gather up her stuff, and the next day had to start teaching online. I'm sure all of you have your own story of how traumatic just that transition was. So you're essentially told to transition and you have no time to transition. Did that happen to a lot of you? Put that in the chat. When this happened, my first immediate response, quite honestly, was, holy, I just bleeped myself there. What am I going to do with my business that's serving schools and they're not there? And then my next thought quite immediately was, what could I do to help all those people that we serve every day? What could I do to help? Because I know forget about this pandemic. I know what the life of an educator has been like, especially over the last 5 to 10 years. And part of what Sensational Kids has been doing in person in schools is providing self-care and practices just for teachers so that you could just manage you. And it has always been our philosophy, Sensational Kids, that when we're working with schools, we truly do know who the most important people are. And the most important people are you. May not feel like that all the time, but we know that that's true. So after this, confinement sort of happened, my second response was, what can I do to keep serving the most important person in the room? And that's you. And that's when I came up with this idea, with talking with my team, of what could we do, is just to offer an hour a week where we can help you. I'm just going to say, like, regain your resources, because I know that you are all expending every single ounce of physical and energetic resources, mental resources, physiological resources, psychological resources. You're tapped out. Is this true? You could put it in the chat if this is how you're feeling. And for those of you that I've been talking to, you were maxed out before this happened, and now you're asked to reinvent and redo everything. And for a lot of you, you're functioning on fumes. You're functioning on fumes. And although it's easy for me to say that's not fair for your kids, the kids that you serve, you need to be there, you need to be present for them. It's not fair to you as a human being. So this hour, this time that we have together, is to help you refuel for you, for your well-being. So what I ask of you is to remember that this is not only about me and my staff. They're on this call too, two of them. It's not only about us energetically giving to you and sharing practices with you. By you being here and being present and being fully committed to being here for the hour, we are all sharing collective energy to support each other. So know that when you're putting things in the chat, be honest about how you're feeling, because I'm sure there are some of you on this call that slightly feel guilty for feeling the way that you truly do, because you're the rock of your classroom. So for some of you, you're probably the steady rock in your school building, and it's hard to hold it all together. So we want this time to be for all of us, to hold space for all of us. Okay, how does that sound to all of you? You could just put that in the chat. Your thumbs up is fine as well. Great. All right, so to begin, let's just start with a quick little check-in, just to ground ourselves here together and mark this time, set this time together. So wherever you are seated, sit back in a comfortable seat. I'm actually just positioned myself on the floor right now because we are going to do some floor practices. So I'm sitting not in a chair, but on the floor. Place your hands on your lap. And just notice your spine and your sits bones for a second, and just wiggle a little bit side to side to try and find your middle, okay? So that you're sitting with your sits bones evenly balanced in your seat. You're not leaning to the side, you're not leaning all the way forward, arching your spine. It's sort of like your neutral place to be. And then take a nice big breath in, lift your shoulders all the way up to your ears, and exhale and just roll them back. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, lift your shoulders all the way up, big breath in. Exhale, roll them back. And then again, just let your shoulder blades rest along your back. Let your shoulders rest towards the floor. Again, we're sitting in an elongated position, but it's not like you're a soldier, okay? You're creating space in your spine and ease in your trunk. Gently close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. If not, just softly gaze down at something in front of you. And then begin to bring your attention to your breath. This is your anchor point. When we practice mindfulness, we try to bring our attention to one thing at a time. So we could notice what is in our present moment. So the breath is a wonderful anchor for that because it's always happening in the moment. So notice you have a breath in and a breath out. Again, a breath in and a breath out. And you can even say that little mantra to yourself. I breathe in and I breathe out. Okay, just a few more breaths here at your own pace, holding your attention on the breath, flowing in and flowing out. And no matter what your week was like, your whole week now is in the past. It's all done, it's all finished. Every moment brings something new because in every moment, everything changes, whether you notice it or not. So on your next breath in, soak in something that you would want to bring into your next moment. So maybe it's a little bit of ease. Maybe it's allowing your body to relax. Maybe it's a little bit of love to yourself. Just think about what you need for your next moment and breathe it in. And then together, take a deep breath in through your nose and a slow breath out through your nose. One more time, a deep breath in through your nose. And a slow breath out through your nose. And then just check in and notice how you feel. You could still feel residual from your week, whatever that was. Maybe you feel that invitation of what you just soaked in through your breath. Just notice. Notice how your body feels. Notice your mind. Know that it's all okay. Whatever it is that is coming up is all okay. And then slowly flutter your eyes open. Okay, so very quickly in the chat, if everybody could just share a word or two about what your week was like, the reality of what your week was like. And part of what we do with mindfulness practice, although of course we're looking to increase our level of okayness, right? It's not about creating this incredible bliss with everything, but in order to create an increased level of okayness, we need to be truthful with where we are, right? In neuroscience, we call that name it to tame it, right? So everything that we're feeling is valid. It's our feelings, right? So sharing, we could see if everybody just looks over in that chat, you know, filled with uncertainty, busy, frustrating, stressful, strange, uncomfortable, unfocused, hectic. Yeah. These are all just the reality of our times, right? And these are the realities of what the external world is bringing into our internal state of being. So this is why mindfulness is just so practical and so helpful, because what it allows us to do is recognize our internal state. And no matter what is happening in our external environment, it gives us the tools so that we can, I'm going to use the word control. I don't necessarily like that word control, but we can manage what's happening on the inside. And without a regular practice of honoring ourselves, it's very hard to do in the moment. And I know that you have many, 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 many moments of these stressful, hectic, unfocused parts of your day because of what you're called to do. So what I want to share with you today, it's titled Restorative Practices to Help You Rest and to Heal. Along with them being practices that you could take some time and savor, they're also just quick kinds of practices that you could do in between your online teaching. Like even when you run to the bathroom, like now nobody could stop you from going to the bathroom. I know when you're in your classroom, that was not possible, right? Now you actually can. At least I hope you can. One of the things that I want to invite you to look at while we're cultivating these inner resources is how, while we can recognize that we are in a crisis right now, our country and really the world is in a crisis right now with this pandemic. With every crisis, there is this combination of danger and opportunity. Danger and opportunity. And I'm sure most of you can feel that, maybe one side of that equation more than the other. But know that when we are feeling the danger part of this crisis more, it's when we're experiencing more and more stress and anxiety. It keeps us in a contracted state, and it cuts us off from even accessing those inner resources that we have. And when we are able to see more of the opportunity, that comes when we are more in a relaxed state, when we were open and we're more in flow. And what I hope evolves from us doing these calls and for you learning these practices is that it holds you in more of a state of seeing the opportunity. And for me, being in education for so many years, there's a ton of opportunity for all of us to have an active change in what education looks like when we go back. When we go back. Now, how many of you want to go back to your classrooms in your school and have them be exactly how they were when you left? Do any of you? Kelly, I see like, Kelly's like shaking like a wet dog. No, we really don't. We really don't. So this time, if you can use this time to help yourself cultivate the skills of inner resources to help you stay calm, to help you stay in flow, to help you stay relaxed, you will be more open to the possibilities and opportunities that are there. So that's sort of like my big dream with all of this. How does this sound to all of you? Cheryl, I see that you raised your hand. Did you want to say something? Okay, so how does this sound? This idea of there being a huge shift in education, even if it's just in your classroom, right? No, sorry, accident. Oh, I got you, Cheryl. Okay, no problem. I'm like, what accident? What happened? Okay. So Nicole, you're saying you've definitely learned so much in the past few weeks. Yeah. Yeah. I meant what I said in the beginning of this talk today, that you are the most important person in the room. Again, I've been working in education for a really long time. I felt that shift of when teaching was fun and exciting, and then it just became this like heavy, stressful, concocted, rigid type of environment to work in. And what I've been saying all along through all the teaching that I've done through Sensational Kids is we are due for a revolution, but it's not coming from the top down. And when I mean the top down, I mean like legislation and government. It's not going to come from there. It's going to come from the inside out. The inside out from the people that mean the most in school communities, and that's you. The change is going to come from you changing you for the sake of you. Does that make sense? Could you just put something in the chat so I know that this is making sense? Kelly, thank you. You love this. Thank you. Okay, great. Let's see. Figuring out the chat. Terry, we are all learning on the fly. No worries here whatsoever. Trying to be there and do what you can for all. Yeah. Here's another thing about the opportunity that I am seeing with all of this is how many of you are doing things that you were scared of doing before or resistant to doing before, and now you have no choice, so you're doing it. I see Jennifer, who works with me. But yes, yep. Yeah, me included. So many things I've been resistant to, like doing mindfulness on Zoom with all of you. I'm like, who could learn mindfulness on a Zoom call? Well, guess what? We have to now. We have to now. All right, so a lot of this restoring and healing and building inner resources, for all of us, that is going to mean self-care, of doing things for us, for nobody else, but for us. So what I'd like to know from you, what does self-care mean to you? When I say that self-care is of utmost importance, what does that bring up for you? Put something in the chat. And it could be that makes me feel guilty, or I have a self-care practice and this is what I do. When I say self-care, what does it mean to you? Okay, doing something you love. Yep. Making time for restorative yoga, thinking about allowing myself to feel that you're enough. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just reading the chats really quickly here. Penny, exercise, meditation, prayer, getting to know your parents more, exercise. Okay, now here's another question. How many of you identify things that you do daily that are self-care? Or are these all things that you carve out time once a week for? How many of you have self-care practices that are daily? You know what they are. Okay, so mixed. Okay, awesome. So I want to read you something. Can't serve, especially during a crisis, without building in daily self-care, self-compassion. Awesome. I want to read you something that I wrote about my definition of self-care and share this with you. Self-care is an act of loving yourself in the moment that nothing but your well-being matters. It's tenderly attending to yourself so that you hear the whispers of what you need socially, emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually. It can be done in a single moment, in an hour, a whole day, or a full night. It requires getting quiet and personal enough with yourself that you feel the shift in every cell of your body that says to you, thank you. Thank you, thank you for caring for this heart, this mind, this body, and soul. It's coming home to you. And I truly believe that self-care is an act of self-compassion. And it's something that requires your intention for it to be just that, self-care. So it could be things like drinking your cup of coffee in the morning, but you mark it, you place an intention on that thing that you're doing, that nothing else is going to disrupt you for the joy and the pleasure that you have in doing that thing as part of your self-care. And I'm stating this because often we have this idea that self-care, it needs to be planned. It needs to be something different than what we would normally do, and that it takes a lot of time. And I know that time right now is a huge resource too, because you're working round the clock. So what I'm going to ask all of you to do right now is put in the chat something that you do every day that you really love doing this. It doesn't need to take a lot of time, but it's something that if you didn't have that thing in your day, you'd be really upset. You would miss it. So taking a walk, reading before bed, walk, watching some TV, going out, drinking your coffee, getting outside, yeah, morning tea, coffee, walking the dog. All right, awesome, getting outside. Okay, so what I'm going to offer to you is every time you do any of these things, and even after this call, I'd love you to make another list, because I bet you each have 3 to 5 things that you do daily that you can mark as part of your self-care. And when you identify these things, every single time you do them during the day, I want you to say to yourself, this is me taking care of me right now. Nothing else matters but me right now. Okay. All right, how does that sound? Yeah. And the reason why I'm having you do this is because our whole physiology shifts based on our perception of something. So when we mark something as having a specific meaning or purpose, our physiology adapts to match that. Does that make sense to everybody? It's a powerful shift just by naming this and placing our intention on it. Okay, you're all putting such beautiful things in here. Yeah, Cynthia put dress pleasing to myself. One of the things that one of my daughters who's here in our home with us now, we both recognize is that when we actually get dressed in the morning and put on makeup, even though we're not always in front of people, we just feel better. We just feel better. And I'm actually realizing that I'm running out of clothes because we left our home to come to another state to help care for my 90-year-old father-in-law. And I didn't really fathom that I wouldn't be going back to my regular home for maybe some months. So I have like 3 tops, 3 shirts, 2 pairs of yoga pants, whatever, it's all okay. It's all okay. All right, so why don't we start with some practices? Okay, and we'll start in sitting. If you are we're going to do some things laying down on the floor. So are you able to transition right now and bring your computer, whatever you're watching on, so that you're seated on the floor, so we don't have to transition too many times. And of course, if you want to stay in your chair, that's absolutely fine. I will give you some options of being on your chair as well. All right, the first thing that we're going to start with is just shifting the energy with some quick energizing breaths. So the breaths are just quick, in the nose, out the nose. And we're going to be doing this with some arm movements. Should I have mentioned if you need a tissue to get a tissue? Because I do. All right, and I'm going to just move back a little bit. All right, so the arm movements go like this. You breathe in and you're going to swing your elbows by your side. That's your breath in. You breathe out, you're going to cross. Then you breathe in, your arms come down. You breathe out and it's like you're throwing water behind you in a bucket. Okay, so let's do that again. Inhale, elbows back by your sides. Exhale, arms cross. Inhale, arms down. Exhale, arms up. So it's going to look like this once we get going. I'm still going to do it kind of slow. So join in with me. In, out, breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out. Okay, we're going to pick up the pace on the next one. Keep going. They're full breaths, quick breaths in and out. Make sure that your out breath is even with your in breath. Otherwise, you're going to get a little dizzy. This is about really moving the energy through your body using your breath. So this is very refreshing. It's a bit energizing, but it's clearing. It's clearing out the stale air. Clearing out the stale air cleans out stale emotions. Okay, it's going to lift the energy in your body. I don't remember where I was. I was talking, sorry. Okay, about 5 more times. Last one. Take a big breath in, reach your arms all the way up. And slowly bring your arms all the way down. Again, big breath in, arms all the way up. Slow breath out, arms all the way down. Last time, big breath in all the way up. Bring your palms together. Exhale, hands down to your heart. Okay, take a moment here. Put one hand on your forehead, one hand behind your head. So holding where your head and your neck meet, like you're supporting your head. Okay, this is you holding you. This is you giving some tender care to yourself. It's you holding all of your thoughts, no matter what they are, knowing that it's all okay. Everything that you're thinking, it's all okay. A lot of what you're thinking, a lot of your head thoughts come from focusing on the danger. They're meant to protect you. Okay, but us holding ourselves, holding our head is a reminder that you got this. You got this. You are bigger than all the head thoughts. The head thoughts happen, but you, the truer you, is bigger and more powerful than all the head thoughts. And then your hand that is behind your head, bring that hand down to your heart. And now imagine that any head thoughts that you have that are not really serving you, they're not serving the bigger you, imagine that they fall like rain into your heart. Research is showing that your heart actually has a brain of its own. Some of the same neurons that are in our brain also lie in our heart. It's our heart that helps us connect to our truest self. It's our heart energy that helps us connect to other people. Connecting to our heart also helps us to produce helpful hormones that counteract the cortisol and the adrenaline rush that we get when we're stressed and anxious. Connecting to our heart helps us secrete oxytocin, which is a chemical that helps us feel safe, and it helps us feel connected to ourselves and to others. And we can access that even just by this simple touch. We could access it by bringing our attention to our heart. And then the hand that's on our forehead, let's bring that down to our belly. And then notice our breath with our hand on our heart and our hand on our belly. Notice if you're able to breathe in air through your nose and fill up your belly and fill up your heart. But begin with the belly. Fill the belly first. By filling the belly, we also have another opportunity to access our autonomic nervous system, to access what's called our vagus nerve. Our vagus nerve is very powerful in helping us turn on a relaxation response. It turns on our parasympathetic nervous system just by breathing into our belly. And then together, take a deep breath in through your nose and a deep breath out. One more time, a deep breath in and a slow breath out. And then keeping your eyes closed, gently place your hands back on your lap, and just notice how you feel right now in this moment. And maybe there's a particular emotion that you feel, or maybe something that you notice about the quality of your breath in this moment, or the quality of your mind. Just notice. Remember, part of self-care is listening to the soft whispers. The soft whispers. What yoga and mindfulness teach us is that we have all that we need within us. But with our rush society, we don't normally listen to what we know. What we know is totally true for us. We listen more to the outside. This is giving us an opportunity to listen to what's on the inside. And then slowly flutter your eyes open, coming back into this space together. Okay, then very softly bring your chin towards your chest. And then inhale, you're going to look up to the ceiling. Then exhale, bring your chin to your chest. Inhale, look up towards the ceiling. One more time, exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, come to a neutral neck. And then you're going to inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, just bring one ear over towards one shoulder. Then let's inhale and move to the other side. Very gently, allow yourself to feel the stretch of your neck. Over to the other side. One more time, other side. And again, very gently, we're just going to do soft little neck rolls, very gently. You could close your eyes if this is comfortable for you. And again, use your breath. You can inhale as you move to the back, exhale as you rotate around to the front. And then let's switch directions, moving in the other direction. Again, inhale as you move back, exhale, coming around to the front. And then inhaling, coming around to the center. And then take your fingers, you're going to interlace them together. You're going to inhale here, and as you exhale, you're going to round your back and then push your hands away. And then inhale, come back to the center. Again, exhale, round your back. Inhale, come back to the center, spine long. Exhale, round your back. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, round your back. Okay, now we're going to work the spine in the other direction. So you're going to place your hands behind your back, interlacing your fingers. You're going to inhale, stretch your arms. Let's see. You're going to stretch your arms away from you. Arms are long. Heart is forward. Lift your chin up. That's your inhale. Your exhale, just bring your hands to rest on your lower back, and you could even round your back again a little bit. Then inhale, straighten your arms. Heart is forward. Gaze lift up. Exhale, round your back. Hands come to rest your lower spine. Two more times. Inhale. and exhale, and inhale, and exhale. Okay, now we're just going to move to the side. So inhale your arms all the way up. Exhale, you're going to place one hand down on the floor. Exhale, reaching over to the other side. See if you can keep your hips level on the floor, so your one hip isn't lifting up off the floor. Then inhale, reach up. Exhale, stretch over to the other side. We're creating a lot of space in between the rib cage. Inhale, exhale over. And what this really does is it helps us breathe, actually. It creates space in your torso for your lungs to expand. Inhale and exhale. Then inhale, lift all the way up, and now we're going to rotate. So you're going to twist to one side. So whatever side you're on, that one hand is behind you, your other hand is resting on your knee. Then inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, you're going to move to the other side, rotate. Inhale, come to the center. Exhale, rotate. Then inhale, come to the center. Exhale and rotate. All right, inhale, come back to the center. Maybe give yourself just like a little wiggle. Nice. Okay, and let's come to our mat or on the floor, wherever you are. I'm gonna tilt this down a bit. And you're gonna come and lay down on your back. And for right now, put your feet on the floor, your knees bent. I gotta take my ponytail out. And allow yourself to feel the whole length of your spine and your shoulder blades and your hips on the mat. It's like you're trying to push as much of your body into the mat to be supported. So you may even be pushing into the earth with your feet a little bit to tilt your pelvis. Okay, with this length of your spine, just hold this and take a few breaths in and out. Really let your body be held by the earth. Let yourself be supported. Okay, and then relax your spine and come to whatever your neutral, comfortable spine alignment is on the floor. And take a few breaths here. Again, really let yourself feel attached to the floor. Let your body feel heavy. And before we get to super melted into the floor, I want to give you two options for, excuse me, laying on the floor. So one is going to be just lifting your legs up. And if you're against the wall, you can lift your legs up onto the wall. And the other is if your chair is nearby, you're going to put your feet up on the chair so that your legs come to 90 degrees, so that your legs are higher than your heart. This helps with draining fluid. It helps with blood flow. It helps reduce swelling and inflammation. This is a truly supported, restorative posture. So decide for yourself, and you could simply leave your feet on the floor as we had them before, or legs up against the wall, or just legs up in the air, or feet on the chair, whatever is comfortable for you. And we're going to come back to the hand posture that we started with earlier, one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly. And coming to your own pace of breath, knowing that each sip of air is nourishing to you. It nourishes every cell of your body. The reason why these practices are called restorative is because your body knows how to heal. Your body knows how to come back into balance, but it needs to be given the time, the space, and the tools to do that. So know that every sip of air that you take right now is nourishing every cell of your body. Sometimes I actually use a visualization of taking in this air and it being filled with nutrients that happy cells in my body are just soaking up. And sometimes I even use a color of imagining the air as a color coming in and imagining that color changing as it enters each cell of my body. So you can use whatever visualization works for you, helps you. But remember, your body knows how to come back into balance. It just needs the tools and the time to do that. So as you're breathing here, see if you can get that hand on your belly to move. As you inhale, the hand on your belly to rise. Just by this type of breathing practice, you will stimulate that vagus nerve that automatically turns on your body's relaxation response. And now bring both hands to your heart. And imagine that your body is now producing all these beautiful chemicals, oxytocin chemicals that flow through your body, from your heart through your body, to help you feel safe, to help you feel cared for, to help you feel nurtured. Imagine that this moves from your heart through your entire body. And then slowly bring your hands back to the side of your body along the floor. And if the chair is in front of you, you can just maybe move it away a little bit with your legs so that you could extend your body long. So stretch your body in two directions, feet in one direction, arms in the other direction. It's a big breath in to stretch your body long. And then as you exhale, bring your knees into your chest. You're going to give yourself a nice, tender hug. And begin to rock your body side to side, massaging your back, massaging your spine. See if you can rock so much to the side that you actually massage your rib cage as well. And you're going to roll all the way onto one side of your body. You could even cradle your head on your hands as if you're laying down in your bed. Just give yourself a moment. Give yourself a moment before we come back to a sitting position. And then very slowly begin to come back to sitting. Okay. So how are we feeling? Thumbs up, got thumbs up, thumbs up. All right, so you will all, okay, is there a way to do the floor exercise other way since I have back problems? So Jiz Lopez, are you able to lay down on your back on your bed? Okay, so you can do this on your bed and you can prop your legs up with pillows on your bed. Does that sound like that would work for you? Wonderful. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that practice that we just did? Or about anything else? I want to be mindful of our time for those of you that might have to run at 1, but I'll stay on a little bit longer to finish up with everybody. I think I was really comfortable laying on my back too, so I wasn't rushing that. Cynthia, you just did it on your therapy ball. Nice, very, very nice. Yeah, everything, for those of you that are familiar with yoga or not, just so that you know, anything that anybody ever teaches you with these types of practices, it should feel good to you. If it doesn't, don't do it. Don't have somebody push you through something that really you know is hurting your body. This is about being kind, compassionate, and gentle with yourself. And no matter who is guiding you, they're not going to know exactly what you're feeling in your body. It's your time to tune into you and adapt things as needed. I mean, hopefully you're being guided by instructors that can guide you safely, but you are the best judge of you always. So trust yourself. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it. It's not that something's wrong with you or you're doing it wrong. Just try to move in a way that truly honors yourself and cares for yourself. Terry, oh, your cat decided to join you. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, so we're going to finish up here. So I'd like to just finish with one more quick, heartful mindfulness practice that'll really just take a moment. If everybody could just come to your hands on your heart. Gently close your eyes for a moment. And remember that this is always your home base. You all have huge, huge hearts. Trust it. Listen to it. It's so wise. It's so, so wise. It will carry you through these times. It'll carry you after in a very, very powerful way. Use this time to build your inner resources so that when this is over, you are stronger. You are a stronger you for it. Together, take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. And just bring your palms together, your thumbs at your heart, and just bow your head to that beautiful, beautiful grace that resides within each and every one of you. Wise souls, wise hearts. I truly am humbled and honored to be part of this journey for you, with you. Truly am. And relax your hands and slowly open your eyes. And again, I thank you. I thank you for all being present, for this going over a little bit. Again, if anybody has a question, just put it in the chat. I'll stay on a few minutes longer. You can also always email Jennifer. Jennifer, if you could put your email address in the chat. Thank you, Penny. You're such a gift as well. Thank you. We will be here next week with different practices, different inspiration. Jennifer also put the link for other people to join. If this was helpful to you, share it with specific people that maybe our outreach did not get to. Share it with them. Because imagine when you go back to school, if you're not the only ones that have been tapping in and tuning in to your inner resources. Imagine if you have more colleagues that are doing this too. What opportunity would that bring for your school? Could be pretty awesome. Kelly, the quote that I read, do you mean my definition of self-care? Yeah. I think I'm going to write it up in a blog, but you're all going to get this video. So you'll have it. Thank you so much. When and if we go back to school, when can you do these classes? Just Lopez, do you mean once school starts, will I keep doing these types of things? You know what, I'm taking it one day at a time of knowing what we're going to do in terms of what Sensational Kids is going to offer. I know that we will continue to offer what we have been offering before this started. Okay, so before this started, we were offering self-care as professional development to schools, where we were running full day and half day trainings to teach educators how you can do this for yourself. The research behind it, the neuroscience behind it, and practical practices. Those were all generated through school districts. They were hiring us to do this. We were also doing it as after school. We will continue to do that. Something that I'm considering doing, and it would be wonderful to get your feedback on this, is creating an online self-paced course for educators so that you can learn how to do these things on your own. That's definitely possible. One of the things that I have always really been an advocate for with self-care is that districts pay for this for their teachers rather than you having to pay for this out of your own pockets. So that's, that would be good, Ms. Lopez. So I am still going to be an advocate for that. But I may create something very at low cost for those teachers that really want to have it on their own as well. But we'll let you know. You're all on our email list now. Jocelyn, do we have to sign? No, you do not have to sign up every week. Now that you've signed up, it is the same link every week. We do send reminders every week, but if you just put this in your calendar for every week, the same Zoom link. I do ask, though, that you don't necessarily share the Zoom link with other people. You give them the sign up link, because then they'll have access to the previous calls. And then they'll also be on our regular email list. So as we offer other things, we can let them know as well. So that helps them out, and it helps us out as well for programs that we're going to be offering in the future. Jocelyn, you signed up, but you never got an email. Oh, your coworker sent you the code. Jocelyn, can you contact Jennifer, unless you want to do it here? Put your email address in the chat, or just send it to Jennifer that you signed up with, and let me check and make sure that you actually are on the list. Okay. All right, Jennifer, thank you. Yeah, Nicole, check your spam folders. If you used your school email address, some schools will put all outside stuff into a spam folder. So yes, check there. Thank you for that reminder, Nicole. And I'm just checking to see if there are any other questions that I didn't get to. Okay, I think we got everybody's. You check spam. Okay, so Jennifer will help you out with that. All right, everybody, have a wonderful weekend. I'm so excited for the weekend, and I don't know how it's going to be any different than the rest of the week, but I'm still holding on to my excitement about the weekend. I hope you are too. I love you all. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for the energy that you shared here, and I'm excited to see you next week. Love to you all.